Krishna. I welcome everyone to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us today mid-morning. And we are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, verse 337 onwards. And today's class will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your valuable association and time. You can now take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kirtida and Mataji, for giving this opportunity. And thank you everyone for joining and giving all of your valuable association. So we'll start with Jaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya. Yes, Mataji, eventually I will be.
Okay.
Right from the starting it takes time, but eventually I will be. Thank you so much. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, entitled Explanations of the Atmarama verse. And today we'll start with text number 337. Shankha Jala Gandha Pushpa Dhupadi Lakshana Japa Stuti Parikrama Dandvata Vandana. Translation: the items of worship such as water, conch shell, flowers, incense and lamp should be described. You should also mention chanting softly, offering prayers, circumambulating and offering obeisances. All these should be carefully described. Purport: all these are mentioned in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. The 8th Vilas of that book should be consulted as far as possible. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Chari Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings and prayers from each and every one of you. So may I be able to speak something relevant and pass on the right message that Srila Prabhupada and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and of course Sanatana Goswami wants to convey. So this right message may be conveyed by myself, so just seek blessings from each and every one of you. Vancha kalpa tarubhascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Okay, so we are in the section where all the 61 explanation of the Atmarama verse has already been completed. And then Mahaprabhu, on request of Srila Sanatana Goswami, instructed him about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And finally, now he is quoting that you should write a book on Vaishnava etiquettes, how a Vaishnava should behave. And then Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Sanatana Goswami that upon different topics that he should discuss in that book. And then, we have gone through quite a few verses and how elaborately in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Srila Sanatana Goswami described about the deity worship and how one should sit in the temple, how one should offer prayers in the temple, and all those, he has already been described. But now moving on to in this verse, what he's saying is about Shankha Jala Gandha Pushpa Dhup Adi Lakshana Japa Stuti Parikrama Dandvat Vandana. So now he's touching upon other aspects of Vaishnava etiquette or of course of deity worship. So the point here is that this is all we can consolidate in one topic, that is Vaidhi Bhakti. This is what Mahaprabhu is instructing Srila Sanatana Goswami, that the importance of Vaidhi Bhakti. we know how Rupa Goswami quoted already in Nectar of Devotion, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhimbina Aikantaki Hari Bhakti Utpatyeva Khalpate. A very famous verse we have read quite often. That devotional service of the Lord that ignores the Shruti Smriti Puranadi, that means the authorized Vedic literatures like Puranas, Upanishads, Narada Pancharatra. If we try to ignore all these Shruti Smriti Puranadi and all these Narada Pancharatra, if we try to do devotional service ignoring them, then what will happen? It's unnecessarily going to bring disturbance in the society. No doubt Raganuga Bhakti is very much emphasized, but still, to reach on to the platform of Raganuga Bhakti, we are supposed to follow Vaidhi Bhakti so that we don't create unnecessary disturbance in the society. And that Vaidhi Bhakti is to do a bhakti, to do devotional service following all kinds of rules and regulations. And that's why following rules and regulations, especially in the temple environment, and of course when we are at home, we should try to follow all those rules, and it is very much important. Because if we follow these rules and regulations, only then we will be able to transcend ourselves and try to come on to the platform of Raganuga Bhakti. But again, as always, I make this point that Raganuga Bhakti is also a part of Sadhana Bhakti. It's not different than Sadhana Bhakti. So what in this verse he is instructing, that he is talking about the items of worship, such as water, conch shell, flowers, incense, and lamp, that you should describe. And you should also mention about chanting softly, offering prayers, circumambulating, and offering obeisances. So we'll discuss each of this in detail, though it will just a repetition for most of you because we have already covered all these topics extensively in previous chapters, but always a revision is better, right? So we'll just, try to dive deep into each and every subject matter, and then probably we'll see how much verses forward we'll be able to cover in 1 hour. So just excuse me for this because it will be quite a repetitive class, but of course revision is always better. So now this items of worship he is telling about water, conch shell, flowers, incense, and lamp. So all we know that this is what we offer when we do arati, right? When we do arati in the temple or we do arati at home. This is all, what is being offered while doing arati. So as we all know that Bhagavad Gita, it describes how we are made up of all those 8 material elements. What is that? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, then mind, intelligence, and false ego. We are just, made up of all these 8 elements. We are not different from all these 8, right? So doing arati to the Lordship is basically offering all these 8 elements to the Lord. That is the significance of performing arati in temple or to the home deities. That we are offering ourselves to the Lord. So why arati is performed actually is so that we can show our respect to the Lord. And of course, it's a part of a devotional service. And finally, because we are offering our own selves, all those 8 elements, we are made up of, we are offering those 8 elements to the Lordship. So earth is representing all kinds of solids, water representing all liquids, fire representing all gases, ether is the existence of space or some transmission of a sound, then mind is some subtle faculty for our emotions, then intelligence is about our rational thinking, and of course the false ego is that how when we misidentify ourselves to be the body and different from soul. That is what the false ego is all about. But during the Aarti, when we offer these various items to the deity, it represents all these elements like incense, the flower, and the cloth. It represents earth, that we are offering our earth part to the Lord. Right? How? By incense, the flower, and the cloth. That represents the earth element. The water represents the water element. Like in Konshal, we take water and then we offer to the deities, right? So that water represents the water element of our own self. Then the ghee lamp, right? When we offer a ghee lamp, that represents the fire aspect, the fire element. Then we offer the yaktil, the fan, the chamara, or we offer the peacock fan in summers. You know, in winters we don't offer the peacock fan, but in summers we do offer peacock fan. So this yaktil fan, that is chamara, or the peacock fan, they represent the air element in our body. The sound of a conch, when we blow a conch before and after the arati, that, and of course the bell that is continuously ringing during the arati, that represents the ether aspect, the ether element. And of course, the songs that we sing, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, any kind of devotional song, any kind of Vaishnava song that we sing, and the mantras, of course, that a pujari is chanting, that is specifically only for the pujari. Pujari, when he offers a particular object, he offers the mantras also. So that represents, the mind. The mantras, they represent the mind aspect, because our mind is totally involved. For others, they can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, those who are in the Arati, participating in Arati, and or any Vaishnava song. But a pujari offers a particular bija mantras for each and every particular deity and offer that particular vastu, the item, right? So that represents the mind aspect. Then the focus on the purpose of doing Arati represents the intelligence aspect, because why one is performing Arati. And of course our focus, that first we have to offer incense, then ghee lamp, then water, then cloth, then flower, then yaktil, the chamara fan, then peacock fan. This is how the focus, and of course focusing on the bija mantras, focusing on the lotus feet of the Lord, that focus represents the intelligence aspect. And finally, the obeisances that we pay after offering each and every item, the pujari has to mentally offer obeisances after each and every item of arati. That obeisances represents the ego, right? And finally, the pujari itself, he or she represents the assembled worshippers. That's how it's being quoted. So it is said that those who are present when the arati is going on, everybody doesn't have the opportunity, right, to perform all those items directly to deity. Only a pujari. So that pujari represents each and every one of us. It is said that if a person who is participating in arati sees the pujari offering all those items to the lordships, and of course concentrate and focus one's mind and intelligence onto the lotus feet of the Lord, then that worshipper, that personality will get all the benefit of performing arati directly to the lordships. So that person is non-different. So we should not think, oh, I am not that fortunate and it's only the pujari who is fortunate. No, just seeing, participating in that arati itself, represents ourselves, that we can become pujari, and that pujari basically represents us. So we should not be disheartened. Rather, we should equally participate in that arati and get the full benefit out of it. So when we offer all these items, then what happened? These offered items, they transformed and they become the carriers of the mercy of the divine, right? They carry the mercy. The mercy aspect is then added to that offered item. And finally, when it is distributed to the worshipper, all these mercy is transformed into them. How? When that divine energy is transformed in the lamp, then we just cup our hands and we take it and we pass it or touched it on our forehead. So this is how the lamp which is offered has been now transformed into the mercy aspect. And now when we cup our hands and we take that arati and put it on our forehead, that is how we take mercy. So this is not such an ordinary thing that we do. We often, when we reach to the temple, we get to see all these things and we try. We should focus our mind that this is not something ordinary, we are putting our hands on a kind of a flame. No, rather we are extracting that mercy aspect and then we take it on our own self. And this is how even the water, which has been now transformed into that mercy aspect, is, sprinkled on our sacred head. And then the flowers, with some reverence, we should try to smell it. It's not just an act, it's rather taking mercy that we smell that flower and we purify ourselves. So this is how this arati aspect should be done. So next time, whenever we get a chance, we should try to dive deep into that arati aspect and try to focus on each and every item and then try to take mercy from all those offered items. So this is what Mahaprabhu is explaining, that how water, conch shell, flowers, incense and lamp should be offered. There are different aspects to it, like for incense we just do 7 times, then for lamp we just do 4 times on the lotus feet, 2 times on the waist, 3 times on the head, and then finally 7 times. So these are the basic intricacies of the pujari that pujari needs to know, and this is how we have to offer. But all these details have been explained in Hari Bhakti. Coming on to the next point, then he said that you should also mention about chanting softly. We all know the benefits of chanting, that how we should chant. And then finally, Hare Krishna. And then finally we are offering, and then he's saying about offering prayers. So offering prayers is also one of the very important aspects. We have 9 processes of devotional service, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the 9 processes of devotional service. Forget about Dasyam, Sakhyam and Atmanivedanam. It's very hard to come on to the platform of 100% devoting ourselves as Dasya, and then what to talk about being Sakhya, and then finally surrendering our own self as Atmanivedanam. So these 3 are little difficult, especially I'm talking about myself. Please, at that point I really want to make that this whole class is for my own self. So it's very difficult to come on to these 3 platforms. Okay, fine, Shravanam is very important, and of course Kirtanam and Smaranam. So we have listened the glories of Kirtanam extensively when we are studying about Brihad Bhagavatamrita, with the glories of Gopkumara, his journey to Gopkumara. So we have read so much so that how Kirtanam is important. But when we do Kirtan or when we do Shravanam, how much absorbed we are, that's the point. We have to be 100% absorbed. Because when Bhagavatam class going on, it's a kind of a lullaby for some of us. That, it starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and it ends with, our sleep ends with Mahaprasade Govinde. So yes, at times we are attentive, but not 100%. So Shravanam aspect, Kirtanam aspect, and then of course Smaranam, remembering the Lord. We always aspire for that stage. But all these 3 are very potent, but it depends how much absorbed we are, right? And then Pad Sevanam, or archanam, not everybody can do. Like I just told that it's how serving the lotus feet of the Lord, it's only the benediction given to the pujaris that they can really go and touch the lotus feet of the Lord, dress them, undress them, or serve them, offer all kind of panchamrit to them. Not everybody can do. But the only thing that is Vandanam, which is extensively described throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, is that everybody can do. Even though we are not 100% absorbed, but this Vandanam is what is offering prayers. Offering prayers is the only thing that we can perform, and that too not the self-concocted prayers, but of course, relating to the prayers that the whole Srimad Bhagavatam has in it. We can relate to those prayers, we can memorize those prayers, and we can offer those prayers to the Lord, to the Lordship. Prayers in the form of verses, some stotras, or in the form of a Vaishnava songs that our acharyas have written for us. They are not different from the prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence is all being carried in those songs, in those Vaishnava songs. And if we just sing it, if we just recite all those in front of the Lord, is what is offering prayers to the Lordship. And Mahaprabhu really, so importantly, he emphasized on this part that yes, we should try to offer some prayers to the Lordship. All the aspects of the devotional services are important. I'm not, cutting down the importance of any one aspect. Shravanam is the most important. We should try to hear. We should try to do some kirtan. We should try to remember Lord, right? The smaranam aspect. But the point what Mahaprabhu is making, and of course what our acharyas always say, is that offering prayers that anyone and everyone can do. And just take any of the prayers. The Bhagavatam is full of prayers. Prayers of Kunti Maharani, prayers of Bhishma Dev, prayers by Vritrasura, prayers by Prahlad Maharaj, by Gajendra. Bhagavatam, you open any canto and you'll get lot and lot of prayers. So we can take those prayers, relate ourselves. They are non-different. They are non-different from our, what we are going through in this material world. They are non-different. And we can easily relate to the prayers. Like I just picked one of the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam and just want to give an example that how we can relate. Just, I'm taking one because of the time aspect. So this is how we should offer prayers. So this is the prayer that I'm referring to. Is by Nalakuvera and Manigreva, with how they were liberated at the end of the Damodar Lila, how Krishna liberated both of them. And after being liberated, they glorified the Supreme Lord. And then they offered this prayer. And this prayer, each and every one of us aspire for. Each and every one of us, those who are practicing sadhakas, we all aspire for this. And what's wrong in it if we just recite this prayer by Nalakuvera and Manigreva and offer it to the Supreme Lord? So I'll just recite. It's Canto 10, Chapter 10, and verse number 38. Vani gunayu kathana shravano kathayam hastau cha karmashu manastau padayornam nityam shirastava nivasa jagat pramantaname drishti satam darshanestu bhavattanunam. The translation says, may all our words describe your pastimes. This is all we all aspire for. That, oh Lord, my Vani, my speech may be used in your service so that I can always sing your glories. So may all our words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in oral reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all these things are also your different forms. And may our eyes seize the forms of Vaishnavas who are non-different from you. Now we can, after hearing the translation, we can just relate that this is all we all aspire for. So we can relate to all these kinds of prayers. This is just one example, I took from Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srimad Bhagavatam is full of these kinds of prayers. And we can choose our favorite. We can memorize it. We can recite it in front of our Lordship. And this is how we can offer our prayers to the Lord. Now then it comes, next part is circumambulating and offering obeisances. So this also we have described, extensively, that how we should try to circumambulate whenever we go to the temple. We should try to do pradakshina. So Skanda Purana, it says in chapter 9, it says the word pradakshina. What does it mean? It bifurcates the whole word into 4 equal parts. Pra, da, kshi, and na. The syllable pra dispels the sin. The syllable da bestows what is desired. The syllable kshi causes the destructions of karma. And the syllable na is the bestower of salvation. So that's why we have to perform pradakshina, and pradakshina is always done in a clockwise manner, keeping the deities onto our right side. This is how we try to do pradakshina. And of course, we all know that how there are different pradakshinas which are being referred to. Like for Ganpati, we do 1, for Surya, we do 2, for Shiva, and so forth. For people tree, we do kind of a 7. So these are just the kind of pradakshinas that, it's been recommended in the various Skanda Purana. And that's how one should offer. But the point is, whenever we go to the temple, we should try to offer pradakshina. We should try to circumambulate the deities, keeping the deities onto the right side in a clockwise direction. And then it comes finally about offering prayers, offering obeisances. So we all should offer obeisances. And yesterday also we read one of the points that was mentioned is that we should not offer obeisances with one hand, right? And we should offer obeisances. So the point is that whenever we go to the temple, as soon as we reach the temple room, rather before, coming to the temple room, whenever we go to the temple, there is always a bell hanging outside the temple. We should try to ring that bell. Why ring that bell? So that we inform the Lordship that yes, we are. Whenever somebody comes to our home, either they knock the door or they ring the bell. This is the kind of a etiquette, that a person makes, that yes, I am here, just to ask the permission that may I come in. So from the other side, we open the door, right? But in temple, it's just a point of asking a permission when we ring the bell, so that we inform the deities that yes, we are here, right? And then as soon as we reach the temple room, the point is just pay obeisances. Just pay obeisances. There, when we pay obeisances, we should recite the mantra. And what is that mantra? Vancha kalpatarubhascha krita sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Because as soon as we reach the temple, we offer obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Even the temple room is empty, still the etiquette should be followed, because Srila Prabhupada is always there, right? And then after offering obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, we should go and offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, keeping Prabhupada on the left side. This is how we offer obeisances. And then we should say the Pranati mantra of Srila Prabhupada. And after offering obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, because it's only through the mercy of Guru that we get to know about Krishna. So we should offer first obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and then we go to the deities. And while offering obeisances to the deities, we should offer obeisances again, keeping deities onto our left side. Right? This is how we offer obeisances. The deities should be onto the left side, and then we should offer the pranam mantra of our deities. And then now here the point is that for the males they should offer shashtang, the whole dandvat like a stick, and for the females they should do panchang. So when they are doing dandvat, is that they are offering all the 8 limbs, that is their 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 knees, the chest, the head, the eyes, the mind, and their power of speech through reciting the mantras. This is how they offer the dandvat, falling like a stick. And ladies should offer only panchang, that 5 items should be offered when they offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to the deities. So offering, paying obeisances is also very, very much important. We should offer obeisances to the deities and to Srila Prabhupada, to the Vaishnavas. And when we see the deity, we all know how we should take the darshan, starting from the lotus feet and on to the lotus face. We of course get tempted just to see directly to the face of the Lordship, but consciously we should try to avoid it. And we should go via, through the lotus feet and then the lotus thighs. And we should try to see with devotion and appreciate each and every aspect of it. Right? And then gone to the navel, and then the chest, then the arms, then the neck, then the smiling face, and finally the crown. So this is how we should take darshan of the Lordship. So this is about offering obeisances. Moving on to the next verse, text 338. Purascharna vidhi Krishna prasada bhojana ani vedita tyaga Vaishnava nidadi varjana. So now he thinks other items you should describe are the methods of performing Purascharna, taking Krishna prasadam, giving up unoffered food, and not blaspheming the Lord's devotees. Purport regarding the Vaishnava Ninda, see Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verse number 261. So this is, also very much important. What he is mentioning is the other methods of performing Purascharna, means vidhi, that is ritualistic ceremonies. That is all being mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And it's almost, all those 32 items, 64 items, yesterday in purport that we all read, is what all about is the ritualistic items that we should try to perform. But the point is, the next is about Krishna prasadam, that we should always take Krishna prasadam. As we all know in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself points out that the devotees of the Lord, they are basically released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered to the Lord. And others who prepare food only for their personal sense enjoyment, they verily eat sin. Right? We all know about this verse. So we should try to avoid all kind of unoffered food, and we should always focus on taking Krishna prasadam as far as possible. That we should try to do. And then, of course, not blaspheming the Lord's devotees. This is about Vaishnava aparad, blaspheming the devotees of the Lord. We should always avoid it because it's a mad elephant aparad. Just how the mad elephant, when it comes to your garden, it ruins the garden. Right? It ruins the garden. The mad elephant has no control on his own self, and it's very hard to control the mad elephant. So once the mad elephant reaches the garden, definitely garden is going to get ruined. So similarly, this offense of Vaishnava aparad is also considered as mad elephant aparad. That it's going to ruin our garden of bhakti, and we should try to avoid it. We should not try to do any kind of Vaishnava aparad. And just now, today itself, I was reading one of the quotes by Satyanandan Maharaj, so I'll be just reading it about what he was telling, that what is offending a devotee. So he says, if one has drunk the poison of offending a devotee, so offending a devotee is just like drinking a poison, because it's really going to ruin our bhakti. Then one should do what? Then one should, with the same mouth, drink the life-giving nectar. We should drink that nectar. And what is that life-giving nectar? Is sincerely, the word sincerely is emphasized, not artificially, not just fakingly, rather sincerely praising and serving that devotee. That's how we can get rid from this Vaishnava aparad. And then he says, Haridas Thakur says, if anyone offends a sadhu in a moment of delusion and madness, he must fall at the sadhu's feet and bitterly repent, weeping with full concentration, and he must beg for forgiveness. He should declare himself a fallen wretch in need of a Vaishnava's grace. And a sadhu is very merciful. His heart will soften and he will embrace the offender, thus pardoning him from all kinds of offenses. In other words, Maharaj is telling, if you have offended a Vaishnava, do not just simply continue your life as if nothing had happened. That means this is the aparad that you cannot ignore. If you have offended a Vaishnava, then you should not simply continue your life as if nothing had happened. Rather, you should turn around 180 degrees, make up your bad behavior, repent, ask for forgiveness, and offer some service unto that Vaishnava. Be real. Honestly feel that your behavior was not good at all. A person cannot forgive you from the heart if they do not see that you have actually understood what had gone wrong. So that sincerity in asking forgiveness or understanding our mistake is very, very important. And then last line he says, the river of forgiveness needs to a certain slope in order to flow. We all know the river, in order to flow, needs a slope, right? Without slope, the water becomes stagnant, right? In a pool, when we see it's a flat surface, what happened? The water is there. It cannot flow. There is no running water because it's a flat surface. There is no slope. So the water is contained in that pool and it is there. But in order for the water to flow, there should always be a slope. So he's saying that slope is that our understanding and our admitting that yes, we have made a mistake. That becomes a slope for the other Vaishnava from where the river of forgiveness can flow. Such a beautiful, today, just a half an hour before the class, I got this and I thought it was quite relevant. So let me just quote it. So glory to Srila Satyananda Swami Maharaj. So he's referring, and this is how, and we have been known, various speakers have spoken about this Vaishnava Ninda, and we should avoid this aparad. Next verse, text 339. Sadhu Lakshana Sadhu Sangha Sadhu Sevana Asat Sangha Tyaga Shri Bhagavat Shravana. You should describe the symptoms of a devotee, how to associate with devotees, how to satisfy a devotee by rendering service, and how to give up the association of non-devotees. You should also explain the value of regularly hearing and recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now Mahaprabhu says to Sanatana Goswami that how he should write about the importance of being a devotee, how a devotee, the symptom basically of a devotee, then how one should associate with the devotee and how one should satisfy a devotee by rendering service. And of course, finally, to give up the association of non-devotees. So this is what Mahaprabhu is explaining. We all know anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. This is, two aspects of fully surrendering unto Krishna. We have to accept things which are favorable for our devotional service, and we should reject things which are not conducive for our Krishna consciousness. And associating with the non-devotees is one of the aspects that we should try to avoid it, because that's not going to keep us in Krishna consciousness. If we want to stay in Krishna consciousness alive, then yes, we have to give up the association of non-devotees. Reject the things because it is unfavorable for our devotional service. Then, devotee. Who is a devotee? Then it's a letter by Srila Prabhupada. He says, devotee means he is able to tolerate all kinds of discomfort. That's the definition of devotee. Able to tolerate all kinds of discomfort and whims of all the material nature. Because he is so much absorbed in serving Krishna, he takes no time to become angry or take offense with others or find out some fault on others. No. Devotee means very liberal and kind to everyone. Always gentleman under all kinds of conditions of life. So this is the definition. Now we can judge our own selves. Where do we fit in this definition? That's why, we should never say that we are devotees. We are just aspiring to become a devotee, because these are the symptoms, these are the checkpoints that we can make that, yes, do we consider really ourselves to be a devotee or not? And then how to associate with the devotees. It's not that seeing a movie in the association of devotees is what the association of devotee is. No, that should not be the case. Doing all kinds of mundane activities in the association of devotee doesn't prove that we are taking the association of devotee. In the association of devotee, we should do Krishna Katha, glorify the Supreme Lord, chant the holy name, do Kirtanam, anything which is related to Krishna consciousness. That is what taking the association of the devotees. Taking the association of devotees also means that we should try to imbibe those qualities, those good qualities of another devotee. That is how we should try to associate with the devotees. And then satisfy a devotee by rendering some menial service or any service to that devotee. We should do that. And then finally, he says, we should also explain the value. Static in your line. She has to move some wire or something. Lila, can you go for not able to hear too much? Maybe we can mute everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, okay. Then he comes on that how one should regularly hear and recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Just 1 minute. Right. So, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam and the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam is also emphasized by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and that will be our last topic to be touched upon. So Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the very famous words of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srimad Bhagavatam gives the benediction to a person who is reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Shunvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinnatascha Kalena na ati dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. It's Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's the 2nd canto, 8th chapter. Yeah. What does it say? That a person who hears Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously. Shunvatam Shraddhaya Nityam. Shunvataha, we should hear. How? Shraddhayam, with Shraddha, with trust, with faith. When? Nityam, always, every day. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says at least once a day. In commentary he mentions, because Nityam is for Kali Yugi Jivas, it's quite impossible. So it says at least once a day. Then what will happen? Then Grinatas just Swachestikam. Then we should try to imbibe all those instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's just not to hear, but to seriously think about the matter that we hear. Then what will happen? What will be the result? Kalena na ati dirghena. As the factor of time is concerned, dirghena means for a very, very long time. Ati dirghena is extremely long time. But he says kalena na ati dirghena, means as far as the time factor is concerned, just in a fraction of a second. Na ati dirghena. What will happen? Bhagavan vishate hridi. Lord Shri Krishna will manifest in our hearts. So within a very short time, Lord Krishna will manifest in our hearts if we read or hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So that's the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Puran. He is Krishna himself, non-different from Shri Krishna. The literal incarnation of Shri Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam. Like we have, when we have the deities in the temple, we have a certain rules and regulations, right? But how we have to offer 5 times Bhoga, 5 times Arati. This time the curtain should be open, this time the curtain. There are quite a few rules and regulations when we have deities in the temple. This is how we worship, right? And when we have Shaligram Shila, there is another type of worship that we have to every day bathe Shaligram Shila with water which is contained in the conch shell with the tulasi leaves. This is how we worship Shaligram Shila. Then similarly, this book Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. And how do we worship Bhagavatam? Is by scrutinizingly studying Srimad Bhagavatam. This is how we worship Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is Mahapuran. So all the Puranas normally they deal with normally 3 to 6 subject matters, but Srimad Bhagavatam deals with 10 subject matters. Right? We know the famous words, Atra Sargo Visargascha, Sthanam Poshanam Uttayah, Manvantara Ishanu Katha, Nirodha Muktir Ashraya. These are the 10 subject matters that Srimad Bhagavatam deals with. And therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is categorized to be the Mahapuran and of course the Amala Puran. So, what is this Sarga? Sarga means primary creation. Visarga means secondary creation. Sthanam means different planetary portions or different beautiful manifestations of the different universes. That is what the Sthanam is. Poshanam is that how the Supreme Lord personally takes care of it. Uttaya, Utti means our inner nature, our intrinsic nature. How we can attain the divine nature, that describes Uttaya. Manvantara is the life and the reign of different Manus that are there. Then Ishanu Katha describes the different incarnations that appear in the different lifespan of that Manu. And then finally is Nirodha. Nirodha means that Nirodha, how to uproot our anarthas. Nirodha means to completely uproot. So how we completely uproot our anarthas. Then Mukti is how to get liberated from the repeated cycle of birth and death. And finally, Ashraya, how to take shelter onto the lotus feet of Krishna. So these are the 12 subject matters that are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And how and where, we'll just look. Like first and second canto, they are just the foundational base. They doesn't deal with any of the subject matter. They are just the foundational base on which the 10 subject matters are based upon. And then the third canto, starting from the third canto, describes the primary creation. Then the fourth canto describes the secondary creation, that is the Sarga. Fifth canto, we all know, it describes about the sthanam, the different planetary portions. Then Poshanam, the 6th canto, describes how Lord personally takes care. The Lord appears in the form of a holy name and protects Ajamil. Then 7th canto describes the Uttara, that how we should focus on our inner nature, how we can focus on the divine qualities of Prahlad Maharaj and reject the demonic qualities of Hiranyakashipu. Then Manvantara, the 8th canto, the chapter 1st of 8th canto, it describes the different manifestations of different Manus, incarnations that appear in different lifespan of all those Manus. And then, of course, 8th canto is also the prayers of Gajendra. Then the 9th canto describes about the Ishanu Katha, the general classification of different incarnations. We have Lord Ram, Lord Parshuram. And then 10th canto describes the Nirodha aspect, that how we can uproot the anarthas from our heart, where we see the how Lord Shri Krishna, our Rajendra Nanda Krishna, our Shamakundar, how he kills all the demons. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he specifies in his book that how those different types of demons represent the different anarthas we have in our body. So how we can completely, hearing those pastimes, and we can completely uproot those anarthas from our heart. And the 11th canto describes the mukti aspect. Uddhav Gita, we have 11th canto. Uddhav Gita, Mukti Pradayata. So that is what, how we can liberate ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. And finally, the 12th canto, how we can completely take shelter onto the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. And how we can take that is the 12th canto that describes especially the last words where it says Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pramano Dukkha Samas Tam Namami Harim Harim. That I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy names destroy all sinful reactions, and the offering of obeisances from whom unto whom relieves all material sufferings. This is how we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a holy name, in form of congregational chanting the holy name. And then we can take complete shelter, the complete ashraya, the samam bonam of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam is. I'll also recite one of the words that Srila Sanatana Goswami writes about Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshi Aksharate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishna Namastume. What he says that, O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss, Parama Ananda, right? Parama Ananda. For whom? For Pathaye, those who read. Then, by reading you, one attains transcendental bliss. For your the syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. It says, Prema Akshara, each and every akshar, each and every syllable, each and every letter of Srimad Bhagavatam gives prema to one who reads. And you are always to be served by everyone. Why? Because you are non-different from Krishna. Sarvada, Sarva Sevyaya. Always you are being served by the devotees. Why? Because you are non-different from Shri Krishna. And another verse, Sanatana Goswami says, Asadhu sadhuta daine. This is the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. That Srimad Bhagavatam gives saintlessness to the one who is, unsaintly. He gives sadhutva to a person who is asadhu. That's the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ati neech taraka. A person who is ati neech. Ucha taraka. You take it onto the different level. Ha ha muncha kadachin mam. Premna hrit kantaya spuraha. Then he says, because Srila Sanatana Goswami was just a mendicant. He just have a coffin, one piece of cloth and a kamandali. He cannot roam around with all those, big volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he's saying, he's praying to Srimad Bhagavatam that, O uplifter of the fallen souls, please do not leave me. Please become manifest upon my heart and in my throat, accompanied by the pure love of Krishna, so that wherever I go, I don't have to carry this voluminous books of Srimad Bhagavatam. Rather, those verses of Srimad Bhagavatam can stay and recite in my kantha, in my throat, so that whenever needed, I can just pull out and just dive myself deep into the pure love, ecstasy of Krishna Prema. So this is what is Sanatana Goswami. It's actually 5-6 verses, but I just took 2 verses, that how he also glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what Mahaprabhu is specific, emphasizing on this point, that one should regularly hear and recite Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll end up here. Last but not the least, I just want to say one thing, that we'll take an analogy with how, if we want to send a letter to someone, how do we send it, right? What are the 3 things that is being needed if we want to send some letter to someone? The first is the correct address. The address should be right, and we should have that address so that our letter can reach the right person. Second thing needed is the envelope, where we are going to write the address. We need a kind of an envelope where we are going to write the address on it. And in that envelope should be the letter, and that letter should have some substance in it. Because if we just if we just take the envelope, write the address and post it, then the other person, what will that person will get? And blank, an empty envelope? Because there should be a letter in it. There should be some substance in it. So taking on to these 3 analogies, if we take to our devotional life, is that what is that address? The address is whom we are approaching. We are approaching our dear Rajendra Nandan, our Radhika Raman, our Shyama Sundar, dear Lord Shri Krishna. That is the right address that we should have, and we should approach him. Then what is the envelope? This envelope is all the what we are reading. Offering arti, offering obeisances, doing chanting, regularly reciting Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, paying obeisances, offering our prayers. All these are the different envelopes that we are doing in our sadhana. And finally, what is the substance? That substance is our mood in which we are offering. So that mood is very much important. We are supposed to follow this Vaidhi Bhakti as per laid down by all the rules and regulations. But still, if the mood is not proper, then everything doesn't hold any value. Example, if we offer arati, it is said that incense has to be offered 7 times onto the whole body of the Lordship. If we focus on mind, if we just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then our focus is only on the counting. No doubt about it that all these rules have to be followed, but our mood has to be there. Why we are offering? What is the purpose behind it? What do I want? What will I achieve after this offering? That mood has to be 100% involved. If our mood, our submissiveness is not there, then that envelope will be just empty, and the empty envelope will reach Rajendra Nandan, Shyama Sundar Krishna. But we don't want the empty envelope. We want that receiver of our love should receive something, and that is what? It's our mood, our sincerity, how we chant, how we do our service. If that mood is proper, then everything will fall in place. So thank you all so much for patiently listening, and we'll stop here, and the next speaker can continue with verse number 340. Thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida, Sundari, Mataji. Thank you very much. Very, very beautiful, detailed class, and thanks for those beautiful prayers and how it is so important. The essence is very, very important behind, the mood in which we do things is very important, highlighting that, and also talking about the qualities of a Vaishnava, what should be there. Very, very beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Mataji, I had a few questions. One is, um, wait, let me- yeah, so regarding this 10 subjects of the Bhagavatam, I don't know, I thought Ashraya was the 10th canto because it talks about Krishna, right? And the rest of the subjects are the Ashrita. Is that?
Yes, Mataji, even I have heard sometimes Ashra do refer to the 10th canto, but Ashra also refer to the 12th canto where the holy name is being described, that how we should take shelter of the holy name, that is the Samambonam.
Okay.
But yes, even I have heard quite a few times that also 10th canto referred to the Ashra aspect, but it is more of Nirodha aspect because only by hearing the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna, we can uproot the anarthas in our heart.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. And the other questions I had was again about deity worship. I thought you discussed it in great detail, especially the elements, how we are offering it to Krishna, earth, water, fire, and all that. So I had a question that why? I should not ask why, but then we also see that there is a rule that one should first offer flower and then offer incense. In the sense that first, before you start your arati, you first put flowers, and then the order is of course incense, deepa, and then flower comes later. But my question was, is there any reason for that rule?
No, Mataji, we don't offer flowers. It's that when we open the altar right early in the morning, then before opening the altar, we offer the flowers onto the door of the altar. This is how the trend is. But before offering Aarti, we can offer a flower just to our spiritual master, taking permission that yes, please permit us so that we can start offering. But nowhere it is that the flower is offered first, because the order goes with like this only: incense, then deeper, then water, then handkerchief, the cloth, and then the flower, and then the chamara, and then the peacock fan.
Yeah, I get that. The order of the arati, I understand. But before we start arati, why is there a tradition to place a flower in front of the deities? Or do they do that in the temple in the first place? Because I heard in home aratis there is one rule.
No.
No. Okay. Okay, because I was not aware. Yeah, and I was told first you place a flower, then you start the arati. So I was very confused why you should first place a flower, start the arati, and then again offer flower. So.
No.
Okay. And then those questions. Okay, Mataji, I'll let others ask, and I'll come back if I remember.
Sure.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Wonderful class. Thank you so much for the beautiful class that you had given. I had a quick question, Mataji. So when we talk about prasadam, we are put into situations where we go to relatives' house, and there, if they don't follow such norms, or in some cases they could be a devotee, but in most cases I don't see them as devotees. So what would you do when they cook? It would be disrespectful if you don't have that, have the food that they have cooked. So in that case, do you just pray to yourself and do the mantras, recite it, and then eat? How do we go about it?
Very good question, Mataji, and quite a general question. We all have this doubt. Even I had this doubt. And once from Keshavan Prabhu, somebody asked this question, and he said that we should be strict onto our own standard, right? So if we are strict on our standards, then yes, nobody can move us. But as far as he said that going to some relative's home, if we can tell them our standard beforehand, then that will be very good. That, this is how my standard is. If you really want to invite me, please kindly follow this, that whatever you cook should be without onion and garlic. And you should please don't taste it. And if they do have some picture of God, then let them offer. And if they don't, and if they don't want to offer, then at least tell them that please don't taste whatever you cook. And then when you sit onto the table, then of course you can mentally offer to the Lordships and then you can honor. So this is one way where you just cannot offend any of the relatives also. But at times when you just randomly go to any one of your acquaintance where you are not obliged to eat, but since we have reached at a particular time where they offer something to you, then you can always say either you are fasting or you have some stomachache. Such kind of excuses can be made. But yes, if it's if they are relatives whom they might get offended, then yes, before going, you can just set up your standard and tell them this is what it is. And especially if it's an Ekadashi, then a best excuse is that yes, it's Ekadashi and I just drink water, then just take water. So the thing is, that's why I said take Krishna Prasadam as far as possible. If some circumstances, if you are being put into some circumstances where you cannot avoid it, then that's a different scenario. But as far as possible, try to take Krishna Prasadam. Like, if you are put into that circumstances, yes, but don't deliberately put yourself into that circumstances. If the circumstances are such you cannot avoid, then it's okay. But don't deliberately put or make those circumstances where you can avoid Krishna Prasadam. So that's the bottom line.
Makes sense, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण कृतिदा सुंदरी माताजी कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम शिल प्रभुपाद शिल गुरुदेव की जय माताजी my first question is that be honest that I can do 11 or 12 rounds in the morning, but we have to cook prasadam every day. Leftover food is not allowed for Shri Shri Jagannath Balaram Subhadrani. So Mataji, we are not able to do, especially I am talking about me or maybe some working woman, that we have to leave home by 8:15. So Mataji, not able to do aarti with corn shell, flour, diya, agarbatti. We will do only diya and agarbatti every day. Is it good, Mataji?
Yeah, so this is also the question was asked by Haripasha Prabhu, and what he said, the 3 items, if you cannot do that elaborate arati, then also it's fine. But the minimum what is required is the incense, the dhoop, the deep, the incense, the deep, that is diya, and of course the flowers. These 3 are very important. And even in Hari Bhakti Vilas, when I was, because in one of the words it is said, referred that 8th Vilas, right? The poet says, and I was referring to that 8th Vilas of Hari Bhakti Vilas. There also it is mentioned that one should not offer only incense. Only incense offering is prohibited. You should not do it. So you should offer incense, then deep, that is the ghee lamp, and then the flowers. The incense is always and always accompanied by a flower. So flowers should always be offered. And sometimes it do happen, then when we don't have flowers, then we can offer a tulasi leaf to the Lord, because tulasi is Pushpasahara, the head of all the flowers.
Thank you for interrupting. Thank you, Sundari Mataji. I think you answered 2 of my questions in one shot. So the question that I had was related to that sentence that said flower cannot be offered without incense or incense cannot be offered without flower. So that was the confusion that I was having. Maybe I just misinterpreted the sentence itself. And then the second thing is, my last question was about that what is that 8th Vilas that was mentioned. So can you
so it's So actually, the 8 vilas I was reading, there are actually, I think, so 12 or 13 vilasas in Haribhakti Vilas that is being mentioned, and the 8 vilas describe all extensively. I can read few, that one should not touch the deity in the dark room, one should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations, one should not enter the temple of the deity without making some sound. These are the various, some rules and regulations that is being referred. I can share the screenshot of it, but it's a quite elaborate, the whole 8 vilas that is talking about the deity worship rules and regulations.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much.
One should not worship the deity when we have smeared oil in our head or on our body. At that time also we should not offer aarti to the deities. Woolens, we should not wear woolens while offering the aarti. Socks or some woolen shawl should be avoided. So these are just some rules and regulations. But again, what is that the point is that the mood, our submissiveness is important.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida, Sundari Mataji, please forgive me. I have another question. Mataji, I have seen that some Vaishnavas are very sincere in the temple. They are behaving like Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. But in the personal life, Mataji, there is a two-phase. They borrow the money from somewhere else. When they have to return, they are hiding the face, and everybody, whether you or me or any Vaishnava, it's a very hard work money, and when they are not returning money, it is difficult for Mataji. So Mataji, I feel, and I have seen criticized Vaishnava also. I just didn't turn my face from that place in the temple. So Mataji, if the person that Vaishnava will do with the other material person, then they don't have a faith on Vaishnava, Mataji. I don't know to give a name, but recently one Mataji said that I am going suicide, I am given a money to this Prabhuji and he is not returning money, and that was my hard work money and I am hide from my husband. So Mataji, this is very difficult. It is very it's tears came our house that how much faith we have that Vaishnava, and what is the face inside. That is a two face of Vaishnava. Yes, Mataji, and we cannot judge the people by one person hearing story, but it is not one person, but 2-3 Mataji has the same complaint that Vaishnava is given a money and not returning, Mataji. So Mataji, why Vaishnava is doing this? It is very painful to hear all these things.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, it is painful, Mataji, and it's quite a general thing that happens everywhere. We should try to understand that in ISKCON, that this organization ISKCON, it is in Kali Yuga. So naturally, the effect of Kali Yuga will be there on each and every one of us, right? To an extent, it's a Kali Yuga. ISKCON is not separate from Kali Yuga. The first thing that we have to understand. And then secondly, yes, your point is quite right, because outsiders, if they have done something and they are not being reciprocated properly by ISKCON devotees, that gives a very bad impression. But the thing is that how you are saying that a person who is performing Arati very nicely and bidding Hare Krishna, saying Hare Krishna very nicely, but on the other hand doing all this. So again, these are the levels of the devotees. When we were reading about the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari, so Kanishta Adhikari is that person who just respects the deities but doesn't respect the other living entities. He sees Krishna only in the deity form. He will not see Krishna in other personalities or in other living entities or in other human beings or in other, they'll not see Krishna there. So that's the level of a devotee. If a person is giving Bhagavatam class or just doing Pujari service, doesn't mean that that person is on the Uttam Adhikari level. Every devotee is on to the different level. And when you see such things, then the best way to approach is to approach the temple president. If the temple president can intervene in such cases, then that's very beneficial, rather we speculating or blaspheming or doing anything. So we should try to avoid it. But yes, the right person is a temple president who has the audacity, who has the authority to do something for that person. And if somehow the temple president is involved into such, then we can reach out to the senior Vaishnavas or we can reach out to the GDC of that particular temple. But such issues are very much common, Mataji, because it's a Kali Yuga and we just cannot expect Satyuga in ISKCON. No, ISKCON is a part of Kali Yuga and it will happen. But we should just focus on our own bhakti, and if somebody is hampered, then yes, we can show them the direction to reach to the temple president. If not temple president, then some senior Vaishnavas or the GDC of that temple. So we can escalate those problems. There is no harm in doing that because that's going to resolve the issues. But yes, it's very hard and it's very, disheartened to see all these things. But try to understand that it's all the effect of Kali Yuga. Hope that helps.
Yes, Mataji, thank you very much. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Second thing, Mataji, day by day you are explaining us Shri Bhagavatam and the nectar of Shri Bhagavatam, and we are just dipping in and coming out. And Mataji, the quality is going more and more and more sincerity. You are already sincere. Please don't misunderstanding me. But the essence is coming more and more and more, like जैसे मक्खन को चन करते तो ऐसे माताजी quality is more and more. It's touch to heart when you are explaining Shri Bhagavatam and Shri Caitanya Caritamrta. And Mataji, second request is that can you please sing all of us for Shri Vaishnav song?
Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. The sincerity that you are seeing in me is, of course, your, image itself. Because you are sincere, so you are seeing the sincerity in me. But I'm really highly obliged to you. But because of your sincerity, at least you were able to see something good in me. But that good is just your own shadow.
No, Mataji, that is not my meaning. Mataji, before that, your level is so high. Explaining your level is so high. So I don't understand. But somehow now, after hearing lectures, so many, more than 12, 13, 14, 15, now my level is coming to understand your explanation, Mataji. For that, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Mataji. The only point was that today the verses were like that, but previously whatever the verses, those Atma Rama verses that I spoke on, even I was not able to understand it. Yeah, it was hard for me also. So I was just, reading from the book itself. But I'll honor your request of Vaishnava Bhajan, but let's see if somebody else has any question or any comment.
Krishna, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class, very nice question and answer and wonderful examples. I don't have words to thank you, Mataji, but really very enlivening and wonderful class. Thank you for your association.
Thank you so much, Lalitanji Mataji, for your association. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for this. Yeah, thank you for this class. Because I always appreciate classes where we understand the rationale behind what we do, so that our practice is not mechanical. And so in that light, I would like to ask a couple of whys. Like why we do certain things, do we know, for example, why incense should never be offered without flowers?
No, Mataji, this why is not as such mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's just a kind of a rules and regulations that has been laid down. that yes, you should not offer incense to flowers.
Okay, and like you said, a ghee lamp is also a minimum requirement, right?
Yeah. The three things are minimum requirement. That is incense, the ghee lamp, and the flowers.
Yeah, and I guess why we should go in a clockwise, direction, always keeping deity and Srila Prabhupada on the right. That also is just one of the things we just have to just accept without.
Yeah, accept it, that we should try to. We should always do the parikrama in clockwise, and not only to the deities. Whenever there is a fire yajna also, then also we have to circumambulate, and Tulsi Devi we have to circumambulate in clockwise direction only.
But the pranams, obeisances, that you keep on the right.
Said that deities should be on to the left because our heart is on to the left, but that doesn't justify. But I have read somewhere that it's because that our heart is on to the left side, so the deities should also be on the left when we pay obeisances, and even Srila Prabhupada should be on to the left when we pay obeisances to Srila Prabhupada.
Okay. Also, can you repeat this breakdown of the word pradakshina?
Yeah. So as per Skanda Purana, it is said pra, P-R-A.
The
syllable dispels sin.
And
then the next syllable is D-A. D-A, da. Da bestows what is desired. Right? Da also comes from the word daite, like you to give, like Kirtida, Yashoda, one who gives fame, right? So da represents to bestow what is desired. Then the third word is K-S-I, kshi.
Yes.
K-S-I, kshi. That syllable causes the destructions of our karma. And the fourth syllable, that is N-A, na, it is the bestower of salvation.
Bestower of salvation.
Mataji, what is the difference?
This is as per...
I didn't... both are similar, right? Say pra once, what is the meaning?
Pra dispels sin.
Then sha?
Sha causes the destructions of our karma, karmic reactions.
Okay.
They may not be sinful.
Okay.
And this is referred in Skanda Purana, chapter 9, verse number 68, to be more specific.
But the word as a whole, pradakshina, it means, let me see, like when we circumambulate Tulsi Devi, we say pradakshina, pade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the word as a whole means circumambulation.
Circumambulation, yes.
Okay.
When we circumambulate, go ahead.
Yeah, just one other thing. I'm sure part of the answer is. Well, let me not offer anything. What is so bad about when we come into the temple, we're seeing Krishna and Radharani for the first time? What is so bad about looking at them directly in the face?
There is nothing bad, Mataji, because we are always tempted to see their smiling faces. But the Vaishnava etiquette says that we should always start on from to the lotus feet. There is nothing bad in it. It's not that you'll get a kind of offense that you have directly seen the lotus face of Krishna or Srimati Radharani or Bharmatai. But the point is, the etiquette says that we should always try to go from the lotus feet onto the lotus face. So consciously, we should try to avoid seeing directly the lotus face, and that's how even Prabhupada instructs that Srila Prabhupada says that this Bhagavatam is the manifestation of directly the deity of Krishna. So go from first canto to the 10th canto, seeing the smiling face. Because it's no harm that if you just go directly to the 10th canto, because you tend to read more stories about Rajendra and Krishna. But the point is that first understand the supremacy of Krishna and go from first and second canto on to the 10th canto. So there is no offense or harm as such, but the etiquette says that we should always go through our, through that lotus feet.
Oh, I thought that it had something to do with, trying to cultivate like a mood of humility or something like that, But
yeah, you can say that in one sense, but yeah.
I don't know.
Our only shelter is the lotus feet of Krishna, right? We just long and aspire to be the servant of the lotus feet. So that's how the mood should be.
So, I was thinking that, usually, Radharani's feet are even covered, so it's like, like almost just the point. But anyway, one last thing I had actually, we always hear that the Bhagavatam has 10 subject matters, and so I wasn't hearing properly when you were mentioning about the 12 subject matters. What was that? What were you saying when you were talking about the 12 subject matters versus the 10
subject matter? Yeah. I was saying that all the other Puranas, they normally deal with about 3 to 6 subject matters, but since the Srimad Bhagavatam is Granth Raj, it's the king of all literatures, right? So, and it's Mahapuran, and that's why it deals with the 10 subject matters. And then I was describing those 10 subject matters, that is Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uttaya, Manvantra, Ishanupatha, Nirodha, Mukti, and Ashraya.
Oh, but
these are the 10 subject matters. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, maybe I misheard you, but I thought at one point you were talking about 12 subject matters also. No? You never mentioned the number 12?
No, I mentioned the number 12 as the canto-wise. That how the third canto is about the Sarga aspect, then 7th canto is about the Uttaya aspect, and then the 12th canto is about the Ashraya aspect. Like this is how I was bifurcating the canto-wise, that how those subject matters are presented in various cantos.
Okay.
But the subject matter are 10, but they are divided in that 12 cantos.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that was it. All right, Mataji, thank you so much, as usual, for your excellent classes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Oh, I'm always saying one last thing.
Go ahead.
This is, I don't know, maybe this is more like a comment, but I was just thinking, when it comes to prasadam, I'm very too lax, actually. But one thing that I always think, is that, when it comes to like being respectful when you're going to other people's homes, one thing that always occurs to me is that, if we had some kind of life-threatening allergy, we wouldn't feel that, being respectful is such a consideration, because we wouldn't do anything to put our life in danger. And so I feel like, if we really took that injunction very seriously, then this respectful issue wouldn't be such an issue, But I feel like subconsciously maybe because we don't want to be that strict with ourselves that we say, we don't want to offend people. But, but the offending people wouldn't be such I'm not saying that we should be insensitive, but I'm just saying that I don't think offending people would be such an issue if we did see it as a life-threatening, very serious, concern, to eat non-prasad. Anyway, that was my little comment.
Yeah. And we can honor fruits and, juices. That's still okay because it's said that the grains carry more consciousness. So try to avoid grains that is not offered, but sometimes fruits are still okay.
Yeah, anything that's cooked over the fire, right? I think that's supposed to be the more dangerous thing.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything?
Kirtida Mataji, finally.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad.
Dandavad Pranam. This about eating prasadam, not prasadam. Prasadam is fine. But if it's not offered and then eating, so isn't that a sin that we are eating?
That's what I was saying, that we should always try to avoid it.
Yeah.
It's a sin. Sin because even Bhagavad Gita says that if we are eating something for our personal self-enjoyment, then it is equivalent of having sin, eating sin.
So when
is the point. The sense is, Go ahead, Mataji.
So then we have accepted by our spiritual master, and he's giving us protection. So if we do eat which is not offered, then it's a sin. So that is also our guru also get the sin what we commit. But the guru does, but we commit sin, and then he will get the reaction.
Mataji, we cannot dive deep into that kind of intricacies, seriously speaking. We should avoid it. But sometimes, the circumstances are such because we are in the preaching movement, right? So circumstances are such that we can take any kind of risk, even of taking the sin onto our own self. And it is not that the sins that we are committing are being transferred to our guru. No. The offenses we do might disturb our spiritual master. But again, our spiritual master is so pure enough that, he'll not be, like if it is said that if we break all those 4 regulative principles, then definitely it's going to affect our spiritual master. So we should try to avoid it. But some things, for preaching purposes, like if it comes to offending the relatives, then what will happen? Suppose if I go to my sister's home and if she says that, oh, I have cooked, now you have to eat. If I have to tell my standard beforehand that this is what my standard is, and still if she doesn't take care of that standard, that means she doesn't want to invite me wholeheartedly. But if then she does take care of that standard, and then if I offer mentally to the Lordship and honor that food, then again, it's not 100% right because it's not 100% offered because it's just manas that I have done. But again, if I'm not making her happy, then what will happen? She'll have something ill about ISKCON and about ISKCON cultures and about ISKCON standards. Then if she will have something bad about ISKCON bad impression about ISKCON, then her spiritual life, whatever on standard she is in, she'll go down from that. So in that case, we have to be little sensitive about it. And, because we are in a preaching movement. So everything through bookish knowledge, we just cannot follow. But again, it's our standard, that what standard we have made. Like when I was talking to Keshwan Prabhu, he was telling that you can make all kinds of excuses. I'm allergic, my stomach is paining, I have some bad stomach digestion problem, or, whatever it is. Avoid it as far as you can. But sometimes,
just to respect.
Be practical.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was saying, that circumstances are such, done it. But don't create those circumstances and give excuses of eating non-prasadam.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the point. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very, very nicely you explained everything and in detail. So thank you very much.
Okay. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you so much for the very nice class, Mataji. Mataji, I have a question. When you started the class, you had told all the 5 gross elements and there were 3 subtle elements according to the Aarti, how it symbolizes. So, Mataji, like when we offer like the Deepa, so what should be the mood like? I'm offering like this Agni or the gas aspect or the gas tattva of
the fire.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. The fire. Yeah. So what should be the mood, Mataji, while offering like all the 5 tattva?
The mood is always of submissiveness. The mood is not that, oh Krishna, see now this is how I'm offering lamp, and now my mood is that I am offering my fire aspect to it. At that time, we don't go into that kind of details. The mood is always submissive. That Krishna, I'm offering these items on behalf of my spiritual master to you, and please accept it. Because that time our focus should be only and only of involved, getting engaged in some kind of service to the Lord. That should be our only mood. It's not that I'm blowing a conch, now I'm offering my ether part. I'm offering incense, now I'm offering my earth part. That should not come into our mind. I'm just telling the symbolization of each and every paraphernalia of performing Aarti. That is just the symbolization, that why we offer all this. But while offering Aarti, our mood should only be of the submissiveness. First of all, I'm not offering myself, I'm offering it on behalf of my spiritual master. And secondly, I want only and only to be engaged in your service. That's how it should be while performing at home. When performing at temple, we should focus on the Bija mantras, the Mula mantras while we are offering. But again, the mood should be of submissiveness.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Mataji, my next question is, the flower symbolize what, Mataji?
The flower also symbolizes the earth part. The incense, the flower, and the handkerchief.
Okay, Mataji.
They symbolizes the earth.
And Mataji, like Priti Vilasni Mataji was asking the question, right, Mataji, before instance when we offer the flower, so that flower is goes to Mataji, our Gurudev. That one is it telling Mataji? Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. She was saying that why do we offer? So I was saying that we normally don't offer the flowers to the deities without, like before incense. But yes, before the start of Aarati, or even while entering the altar, we enter with the picture of our Gurudev. We don't enter without the picture of Gurudev. We actually first let picture to go inside the altar so that our Gurudev is inside, and then taking his permission, we enter. And as soon as we enter, before performing any service, whether it is dressing, whether it is Aarati, or whether it's doing Shayan, whatever service we are performing on the altar, we are doing it on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, or on behalf of our Gurudev. And therefore, before start of a service, we take a flower and we offer it to Gurudev. Give him the asan, give him the, acknowledge his presence by offering a flower, that yes, you are here, and now whatever service I'm performing will be on your behalf. So I'll be just an assistant to you. That should be the mood.
Okay, Mataji. And my Mataji, the last question is, you were telling about the 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, Mataji, describe it again, according to canto wise?
Yeah, so the canto first and second, it just describes the Adhikar Lila. Means it describes the foundational base on which all the 10 other subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam are based. So they are just act as foundation, the first and the second. The third canto, it describes the Sarga aspect, the primary creation. And the fourth canto describes the secondary creation that Brahma does. That's the secondary creation. The fifth canto talks about the sthanam, that is the different planetary portions, different manifestations of the different universes. Then the sixth canto describes that how Poshanam, that how the Lord personally nourishes through his holy name or through his Vigraha Seva, however it is, but he personally nourishes the soul. Then the this is the sixth canto. The seventh aspect is the Uttaya. Uttaya is in the sixth, represents that how Utti means actually our intrinsic nature. So that is described in the seventh canto, that how by reading the Prahlad Charitra, how we can attain the divine nature of Prahlad and reject the demonic nature of Hiranyakashipu. So there it has also been explained that Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu, they both are present in our heart. Both are present in our heart, our divine qualities and the demonic qualities. But the one will is the one will make them starve. The feed. If we'll feed our divine qualities more, then definitely that's going to win. But if we make our demonic qualities feed more, then definitely the demonic qualities will win. Then the next is Manvantara, that is described in the 8th canto. So in 8th canto, chapter 1 deals the different incarnations that appear in different lifespan of that Manu. So that describes, that Manvantara part is described in the 8th canto, and also I was telling that the 8th canto also deals with Gajendra Lila. Then the 9th canto describes the Ishanu Katha, that is the general classification of different incarnations of the Supreme Lord. And there we have the incarnation of Lord Parshuram, Lord Rama, right? The 10th canto describes the Nirodha aspect, that how it gets, our anarthas get uprooted from our heart when we read all those pastimes where Krishna is killing all the different demons. Because all those different demons, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, they are the representation of different anarthas in our own self. And then the 11th canto is Uddhav Gita. This is how we get liberated from our cycle of birth and death. And that is what the Mukti aspect is. Uddhav Gita is the Mukti Pradayani. And finally, our Ashraya aspect, that is the 12th canto, that how we should always take shelter of the holy name of Lord Shri Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Radhe. Dandavad.
Hi, Krishna Mataji. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I wasn't clear about the 6th canto. What is the 6th canto supposed to describe?
6th canto describes about the Poshana aspect, that how Lord personally nourishes the soul. And there the example of Ajamil is there, that how Ajamil, though he was quite sinful, but since he chanted the holy name of Lord Narayana, then Lord personally helped him and gave him the second chance. So that it describes the Poshana aspect, that how Lord personally nourishes one who takes shelter of his holy name.
Yeah, that's there's a word that you said twice. I couldn't understand it. It sounded like portion.
Portion. P-O-S-H-A-N. Poshanam, N-A-M.
P-O-S.
Actually, this word is, I'll tell you, this verse is in the 2nd canto, 10th chapter, verse number 1. This is the whole verse. Atra sarga visargam.
Wait. What? Can you repeat the reference number?
2nd canto, 10th chapter, verse number 1.
Okay, and there I will find that word, because I don't think I'm familiar with it.
You will find all these 10 words, all these 10 aspects. You'll find in the verse itself, and then you can search for the word-to-word meaning.
Okay, so that verse will...
2:10:1.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And number 8 was... It describes the Manus, right? Because
Manu.
Right?
Yeah, different Manu. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's already 12:43 EST.
Vaishnavam, please, Mataji.
Shall we? Okay. I'll sing a short one. I don't know why you always put me on spot, but still, just to honor your request. It's about Narottam Das Thakur, Gauranga Karuna Koro. Gauranga Karuna Koro, Dinahin Jane, Musamo Patita Prabhu, Nahi Tribhuvane. Dantradrina Dhori Gaura, Dakiye Tumare, Kripa Kori Ke Soma, Sedaya Mandire. Jari doya no koribo, patita dekhiya, patita pavan nama, shira lagiya. Podiche bhava tufane, nahi ka nistar, shicharan taran dene, Dase Korupar. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dase Ranudasa Prarthana Koroyo Sada Narottam Dasa Garanga Karuna Koro Dinahina Jane Musamo Patita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuvane. Jai Gauranga Prabhu ki Jai Narottam Das Thakur ki
Devi Dasi ki Jai. Jai Ho Gopi Dandavat.
Sundari Mataji, very good.
Very nice.
You're singing very nicely. Good sing.
Improving, Mataji. After every class, Vrinda Gopika Mataji is telling me to sing, so I'm improving my singing skills.
Mataji,
So glories to her.
You came from different world. Vaikuddham Mataji.
Oh,
that is the mercy
her.
of Radharani.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, very, very beautiful class and very nice question answer session, Mataji. Thank you so much for in detailed class, Mataji.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji.
When I read, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
When I read, it doesn't. This kind of deep thoughts doesn't occur into my mind. I read it, and as it is.
It's all,
yes,
it's all because of your blessings. It's all because of your blessings.
Very nice.
Okay. Thank you all so much for joining, and thank you so much for.
All Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Jai Shri Shriman ki jai, and her grace Kirtida Sundari
Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.